My name is Jacques Dadijan. I'm going to demonstrate how to install a piece of memory stick in a motherboard. But before I do that, I want to share with you some very important information. First, before you buy memory for a motherboard, you have to know how much memory that motherboard can support, because every motherboard is designed to support a specific maximum amount of memory. So you cannot put more memory than the maximum amount of memory that motherboard can support. You need to know what type of memory the motherboard support and what is the speed of memory that motherboard can support. You cannot put a memory stick that is faster than the memory the motherboard can support. If you want to upgrade a computer, you need to know what type of memory you have in the computer, because you cannot mix memory package. If you have two pieces of memory stick in a computer, both of them has to be the same time and the same speed. If you have 4 pieces of memory stick in a motherboard, all these 4 pieces of memory stick have to be the same type and the same speed. If they are the same type but not in the same speed, you're going to have a very unreliable computer. You're going to have a very unstable computer. Put in mind, when you want to upgrade a computer, it's because you want a computer that is faster, a computer that is more reliable. If you do not have the right memory stick to upgrade your computer, you're not going to achieve that expectation. So this is very important to know what type of memory that motherboard support and what is the maximum amount of memory that motherboard can support. If a motherboard is designed to support only 2 gig of memory, you choose to add another gig or 2 gig, that's not going to work, because the maximum amount of memory that motherboard can support is 2 gig. If you have one of the newest motherboard, some of them support up to 16 gig and more. But if you have an oldest motherboard, you have to make sure you find out what type of memory that motherboard support and what is the maximum amount of memory that motherboard can support. Now, where can you find this information? You can find this information in the manual that comes with the motherboard or the book that comes with the motherboard. And the other place you can find this information is in the internet. You can choose your preferred search engine and you make a search on that specific motherboard. You have to know the make of the motherboard and the model number of that motherboard. And you can search for all the specification and you will find out what type of RAM that motherboard can support, what is the speed of RAM that motherboard can support, and what is the maximum amount of RAM you can put in that motherboard. If you want to upgrade a motherboard, you have to know also if there is a available memory channel to put that memory stick you are about to install in the motherboard. Now, When you have all of this information, you are ready to buy your memory stick. In the second phase, you have to make sure you protect the new piece of memory and the existing piece of memory that is already installed in your motherboard against damage caused by electrostatic discharge. What is electrostatic discharge? Electrostatic is an energy produced by your body that can cause damage to memory stick if you don't handle those memory stick with precaution. There are a set of steps I'm going to tell you, and you're going to follow the steps to prevent damage caused by electrostatic discharge. First, the vendor will ship the piece of memory in the anti-static bag. You have to keep your new piece of memory inside that anti-static bag until you're going to install it in the motherboard. And when you pull that piece of memory from the anti-static bag, you have to make sure you don't place it in top of the anti-static bag, because you can cause damage to your new piece of memory just by placing it in top of the anti-static bag. Now, when you pull the piece of memory from the bag, if your motherboard is not ready to install that piece of memory, you have to make sure you place the memory in top of an anti-static mat. Now, you have to wear a wrist strap. If you look at the wrist strap, there is a little metal in the bottom. You have to make sure that small piece of metal establish a good contact with your skin. Then you tight it in your wrist. This is what I'm doing now. I'm trying to put my wrist strap in my wrist, and now I'm going to take that alligator connector and I'm going to connect it in the back of the power supply of my case. Now I ground my body so I don't cause any damage to my new piece of memory. And I don't cause damage to the piece of memory that is already installed in my computer if I'm upgrading a computer. The second technique I can use is to wipe my hand in any metal surface. If I wipe my hand on a metal surface, I will discharge all the electrostatic from my body in that metal surface, and it will be safe to touch my memory. While you're installing a piece of memory, if you suspect you cause any damage to that piece of memory, send it back to the vendor. Do not install it in the computer. If you install a piece of memory that is damaged by electrostatic from your body, you're going to have a buggy computer. And you do not upgrade the computer to have a buggy computer. Of course, you upgrade your computer because you want to have a faster, a more reliable, a more stable computer. Now, if you look at that piece of memory, you will see there is a little notch right here in the middle. That little notch, this is what makes the difference between the different type of memory. You can have a DDR memory, a DDR2 memory, a DDR3 memory in your hand, they all look the same. But if you put them against each other, you will find out each notch is placed in a different location. However, even if you have two types of the same, such as you can have two pieces of DDR memory or two pieces of DDR2 memory, they both DDR memory, however, each of them is a different speed. Not only you have to know what type of memory is this, but you have to know what speed of memory your motherboard can support. If you have a piece of DDR2 memory or DDR3 memory, and you buy another piece of DDR3 memory, that doesn't mean it's the same memory, because the second piece you buy can be faster or slower. But the general rules is you have to install the same memory package in a motherboard. Now, when you have the right piece of memory, what you do, you're going to open the case so you can have access to the memory channel. Now, if you look at in that motherboard, you can see clearly there are two memory channels. This is one and this is two. Two memory channel. And if you look at in the memory channel, you will see on this side there is a lock, and in the other side there is another lock. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my piece of memory and I'm going to place it in the memory channel. I place my piece of memory in the memory channel. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to place one on each side of the memory. Now I'm going to apply pressure on this side and I lock it, and I'm going to apply pressure on the other side, and you can hear a snap every time I put pressure on one side of the memory stick. Now I lock my memory stick in the motherboard. I just successfully install a piece of memory. Put in mind, successfully install a piece of memory stick in the motherboard mean you install the right memory. That means a memory that is the type of memory your motherboard can support and that have the speed your motherboard can support. And you don't put more memory in the motherboard that the motherboard can support. And you have follow all the preventive method to avoid damage caused by electrostatic discharge from your body. So if you do all of this, you can see it is a very easy process, but you need to know the information to make sure that you successfully install the piece of memory stick in your computer. Thank you for the opportunity to demonstrate how to install a piece of memory stick in the motherboard. If you are one of the students in the Mattapan Tech distance learning program, make sure you go to our website www.mattapantech.org and ask any question. One of our instructors will contact you with the right answer. Thank you.